55 of This Week in Geek. Not a very joyous episode given what we have to talk about today, but it's a joyous episode because I am here and my co-host Zach Pope is back. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing better, man, and I'm excited for to do this. And then I got Comic-Con next week, which nothing's happening at now.
Why are you
You
going?
know, it's already paid for. At this point,
That's
I
true.
would
Fair
lose
enough.
money not going.
Fair enough.
And but it'll be fun because it's in San Diego. So my fiance and her sister are going, my friend's going. So I'm like, you know what? I planned out the week. Saturday, nothing's going on. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the beach that day. Like,
Yeah, just
there's
spend
no
the just
reason.
spend a weekend in San Diego at the very worst.
Exactly. So we're gonna do stuff like the first 3 days. Talk to Me stuff is still going on there. So I'm hoping to meet the two directors who I've like always loved them. So we'll see if that happens. But I'm just really sad that the Dune panel isn't happening anymore. They were supposed to have a
Yeah,
giant Dune panel and all that stuff, the
true.
cast coming out, and yeah, I don't know. Still fun. But what about you,
It's
man?
It's a shame. I'm doing all right, and I would like to announce immediately as we start the show that the streak is continuing. Everyone, next week we have a show again. We've been going for like 4 weeks. We've been getting very very lucky this past month or so. So let's hope after that we can keep having another show. But however you're finding us, thank you for finding us, whether you're watching us live on YouTube, whether you're watching the replay, whether you're listening to us on Spotify, whether you're going on a jog, on a commute, whether you're crushing iron at the gym. Thank you for watching/listening to our podcast. And in case you're new to This Week in Geek, we divide this show in 3 segments. The first segment is when me and Zach, or whoever my co-host happens to be, go through our weekly ranking where we look back on everything we watched this past week and rank it from worst to the best. We then highlight your weekly rankings in the live chat. Then we go on to the main topic that you see on the thumbnail, that you see on the title. And this week we have a doozy, my friends. But after that, we always end the show on a high note because it's our favorite segment of the show, your favorite segment of the show, where we talk about your questions. There's 3 ways of asking questions. The main one is just go to the community tab on my channel. There's a post there with a thumbnail for this video where you'll find a post dedicated to answering your questions, and we'll do our best to get to as many as possible. But if you want to guarantee your question is answered and answered as fast as possible, you can use the tip link in the description or the super chat feature because it actively supports the channel and the show while you ask great questions. So without any further ado, Zach, you haven't been here in a while. Why don't you get us started with this past week of weekly ranking? Don't worry about catching up, just this past week.
Well, I'm just gonna say I've literally. This is very depressing. In this month, I've watched 5 movies.
Oh, wow.
I haven't been in the mood to watch it. I've just been watching TV, which it's not really a lot either. I'm just rewatching stuff. So, I honestly I don't have. Can I just talk about Dead Reckoning real fast and how much I loved it? Like, because
Sure,
that's
sure.
basically like all I've seen. Dead Reckoning is awesome if you've not watched it. I can't stop thinking about that movie. And I've gone back and forth if I like it more than John Wick 4, which is saying a lot because I think John Wick 4 is one of the best action films of all time. But this also might be up there too, and it's only my second favorite because Fallout is still the best Mission Impossible film.
That's true.
So at least to me, you feel the same still. I'm trying to
I agree.
remember your. Okay,
Dead Reckoning is my number 3 overall in Mission
okay.
Impossible,
See,
and
so
it's my number
mine
2 of this
goes.
year.
I was about to share my ranking. My full ranking will be on YouTube at 8 a.m. today. So after this podcast, go and watch it once it boots up. I think 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. One of the two. But yeah, it's that. I saw Indie again. Still loved it. Yeah, that's it. I didn't watch anything this week.
That's it.
I
All
I
right.
did not watch anything this week, man. There's a lot of movies I need to watch. I need to start doing a Ninja Turtles marathon, but there's
Oh,
that.
true, true.
So
Well, I was able to watch quite a few things this week, and the most recent one that I watched earlier today, ladies and gentlemen, Unwelcome has been dethroned as the worst movie of the year for me. I watched something that is not at all funny, not at all scary. I didn't, Zach, it's not that that I didn't laugh. It's that I didn't snicker. It's that I didn't at all chuckle throughout this entire thing, and that is The Blackening. One of the most painfully boring, unfunny, dreadfully just forgetful things I've ever experienced. I just wanted it to be over.
I thought it was fun. I liked The Blackening. I thought it was fun.
Dude, when I was logging in on Letterboxd, most people gave it a positive rating, so you're in good company. I could not stand this movie.
I mean, for me, the thing that's most subjective, it's not even horror, it's comedy. Comedy is the most subjective 100%. Film genre. Like 100%. I've talked to some, like, that's why it's always hard to review one, because I've said, like, if I reviewed a comedy in the past and I've said I've loved it, half the time, a lot of the comments will be like, this was awful. And then vice versa. If I hated the comedy, my comment sections, that was the funniest thing. Like, I remember, what was the Rebel Wilson Anne Hathaway movie, that comedy with them wearing gold?
The Hustle?
Yes. That I got a lot of shit for, because I hated that movie. But
it was not good.
It's
better than The Blackening, but it's not good.
No, it's not. I know The Blackening was hilarious, but hey, man, I get it. I get it.
All right. On top of that, I'm going to have Insidious: The Red Door, and I'm telling you, right, like, it's miles ahead of The Blackening.
Dude, your comment on Letterboxd. I'm not gonna say what it is, because everyone should just go to your Letterboxd real fast.
For The Blackening?
Yes, that's why I started laughing, because I wanted to see what you put.
Yeah, I was like, what was my comment? I calculated very well, because I'm like, okay, does this beat Unwelcome? Because I gave Unwelcome 1.5 stars, and I'm like, anything at all in this movie, please. And I'm thinking about it as I watched it. I'm like, no, nothing in this movie. But miles ahead of it is Insidious: The Red Door. I finally went to watch this last night, and I think it's very okay. I think it has a lot of promise, and I think what bogs this movie down is it being an Insidious movie. If this was not an Insidious movie, this would be a strong 3.5, maybe 4 stars. If we didn't know anything about these characters, if this was just a journey about discovering their generational trauma, because it has a lot of great character work, it has a lot of great visuals. Patrick Wilson clearly knows how to direct. This is a very impressive directorial debut. I think the script bogs this movie down because it is a part of this franchise, and it did not need to be. That final scene, however, I'm not going to spoil the final scene, but that is one of the most baffling things I've ever seen. I don't know what to make of that final scene. The acting is all off. The dialogue is super vague and abstract, and at the same time so corny and telegraphed, and I don't know. That final scene is awful. That final scene is atrocious. I'll tell you right now. So this past week, I also did see Talk to Me and Past Lives. I've not had a chance to review those, so I'm not going to rank them in this weekly ranking.
Can you at least tell me what you thought of Past Lives? Because I haven't, just like a small little glimpse. Okay. I know you saw Talk to Me. So
I will say it's really one of those movies that I really want to talk about, but at the same time, I feel like I can't talk about it. Mm-hmm. Because I won't be able to properly express. Yeah,
that was a tough one to review.
So fucking good.
I sat on that.
Yeah, but it's very fucking good. It's very fucking good.
Okay, good.
So on top of Insidious: The Red Door, and I hate to say this because it's very much on that line. It's Secret Invasion Episode 4. I absolutely stand by what I said.
I did watch that.
Yeah, I stand by what I said with Episode 1. I don't know, man. I hope, like, in context is like, oh, going back to Episode 4 makes total sense. But I'm not saying it's the worst thing they've ever done. It's much better than most, not all, honestly, but most episodes of She-Hulk. It's better than Episode 3 of Ms. Marvel. And those are like just the ones that stand out like as bad episodes. This is just above that, but I can't really say
it's bad in a lot of ways, though. I thought it was like, the more I've sat on it, it's just the pacing was off. There's no, like, the direction felt aimless. Like, primarily in that action scene.
It plays these moments that conceptually, you watch these scenes, you think about, like, the written page, and you're like, this should have a lot more weight, more power, more gravitas to it all. and it just plays out, and it's not clicking. It's the best way of putting it. Like these moments, that ending better be a fake out again. Like, yeah,
I don't
you're
think
still gonna
no.
have issues because they
There's no
say
way
it's the
they
exact same
can.
thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you this because the second the episode ended, I said that ending better be a fake out. But if it is, I'll be pissed. And if it's not a fake out, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed either way because that scene was honestly pretty
Yeah,
bland. And
yeah,
so it's dumb how that happened. And then second, if it didn't actually happen, that's the what second fake out in 2 weeks.
yeah. They just play
So
that card
it's the
twice
same, dude.
in a
The
row.
3 episodes have ended in that same way now. The first episode,
Yeah, but
the second
the first one
was
is real by this point.
the first one's real, but
The first one's real.
still,
Yeah,
come on. I don't
yeah,
know,
true.
man. I don't know.
On top of that, I'm going to have Brokeback Mountain, the movie, which I had never seen before. I went to watch the play here in London a few weeks ago with Mike Feist and Lucas Hedges, even though Lucas Hedges wasn't there the day I went to watch it because he was indisposed. I like to believe he was auditioning for Human Torch that day, but that's just me. And I like this movie, but I think the play is better. So if they move from here to over there in America somewhere, give the play a
Please skip,
chance.
yeah.
It's very much a more trimmed down because the play doesn't even have an intermission. It's 90 minutes straight and it's over. The movie is good, and Jake Gyllenhaal and
Yeah.
Heath Ledger are spectacular, but I don't think it's quite like 5 stars, 4.5, and all that. On top of that, I'm going to have Hijack episode 4. If you're not watching Hijack yet, go watch Hijack. It's so fucking good. But this is definitely the weakest episode so far. This and Secret Invasion, and Hijack is much higher than Secret Invasion, clearly. But this is the weakest episode of this show that I'm really loving so far. It has all these clunky beats in it that don't really make a lot of sense. And I'm like, there's a story thread that we left hanging in episode 2, and we have not gone back to it. But if you're not watching, it's essentially in real time, where given the episodes of the show, the number of episodes in the show, and given the runtime of the episode, essentially this plays out the real time of the flight that they're making from Abu Dhabi or from Dubai to London. And it's so good. Zach, you're going to love this show if you're not watching it already.
I'm not.
And at my number one, my number one finally came out last week here in the UK, Elemental. It's very, very good. It's not quite great. There are a few things that miss the mark. There are a few things they explore not enough. There are a few things that they spend a little bit too much time on. But the relationship at the core of this film, the immigrant themes pervade the entire thing, really well handled. And I think it's very much upper mid-tier Pixar. And you should all go continue to support this film because surprisingly, it's having quite nice legs despite not making its run and not making its money back yet. Despite opening to very underwhelming numbers, it's proving to have a bit of steam, no pun intended. So that is my number one.
I think this points well for future Disney and Pixar films.
I think so. I hope so.
Like, I think Wish is going to do better now. Well, maybe. I'm not going to speak on Wish because that's not Pixar. But I think Elo, from what I've heard, that film's actually really good. Elio. From what I've heard, that film's actually really good. So if it's really good and you have that 5-month basis without really much animated features, it's going to sit in theaters. And then Inside Out 2, dude, I will tell you, I think that's going to make $1 billion. I think
and it
Inside
feels
Out 2
right now
they
are marketing Wish because it's their they know how to market this type of movie.
Yeah,
the type of movie
I've heard Wish is excellent, so we'll see.
It looks like it. It looks like it. You know how when I go to the movies, I just keep my headphones on and keep on my phone while trailers play. When I went to see Elemental and I looked up and oh shit, the Wish trailer is playing. I stopped everything and I just stared.
I have not seen it. I've not seen it. I've only seen clips. Like I haven't seen a full trailer.
Watch the one that is out yet, because so far they've sent only one out. It's very much just the concept. It's very much like the thing they told about it. Like here's the premise, the idea behind Wish, and that's what the trailer is.
Okay.
The next one I'm definitely not watching, but watch the only one that's out so far. All right, everyone, let's go into your weekly rankings. Eric Thorpe starts us off with number 1, Batman Begins. Number 2, The Patriot. Number 3, Behind the Patriot, brother? I don't know. Mission Impossible Fallout. Number 4, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Number 5, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1. 6, Raiders, the story of the greatest film ever made. I'm assuming this is a documentary that I've not heard of. And number 7, Secret Invasion, Episode 4. It is, compared to everything else, it is very much where it belongs. Dominican Scott, number 4, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, one of the greatest seasons ever. Number 2 for me. Number 3, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, not ahead of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Number 2, Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. And number 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I still need to watch this again. I haven't given it a rewatch. Nathan Madigan, number 3, 65. Number 2, Playtime. And number 1, The Terminator. That's always a good rewatch. Geek OVP, number 10, Mission Impossible 2. It's not awful. It's a really fun time, but it's definitely the weakest of them all. Number 9, Secret Invasion Episode 4. Number 8, Asteroid City, Midwest Anderson. I would put it much lower than the middle. Number 7, Rogue Nation. Number 6, Nimona. Number 5, Funny People. Number 4, Mission Impossible 3. Number 3, Dead Reckoning Part 1. Number 2, Ghost Protocol. And number 1, Fallout, still the best Mission Impossible movie. That's definitely my top 3 Mission Impossible movies. Fallout, Ghost Protocol, and then Dead Reckoning Part 1. And we got Tony Movie Chappie. Number 6, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 5, Wall-E. Number 4, Carrie Remake. Definitely not ahead of Wall-E for me. Number 3, Suicide Squad Extended Cut. That one sits exactly the same place as Suicide Squad. Number 2, Alita Battle Angel. And we're missing number 1. So, yeah. Also a movie I'd put much lower. But that is it for weekly rankings, everyone. Let's get to what we're here to talk about today, because for about over a month now, I'm not sure if it has gotten to quite 2 months yet, but over a month now, the WGA has been on strike, demanding fair compensation for their work, demanding fair contracts for their work, and making sure they don't become obsolete as artists. And now SAG has joined them. The actors have decided to strike. And the entire world of movies has been kind of on fire because now everything has stopped. And while Deadpool, for example, not the only movie that was doing it, but Deadpool was shooting because they didn't need writers anymore because the script was already written. They were shooting during the WGA strike, but now SAG has started striking. Deadpool has stopped filming. Wicked was 10 days away from wrapping filming. They stopped filming. The cast of Oppenheimer was here at the London premiere. They took some photos. They went to the red carpet. The strike began, and they all had to leave. They all chose to leave. And so now the world of Hollywood is at a standstill, and there have been people that said some pretty smart things. There have been people that said some pretty stupid things, and there have been people that have been accused of saying stupid things when they actually said smart things, and vice versa. It's a bit of a mess right now, naturally. And right now, we're not really seeing the impact of it on our movies. And obviously, that's not the most important thing, but as movie fans, we need to talk about that aspect. Zach, what are your thoughts on this? How do you think this changes the dynamic of the strikes either way? And do you think now studios, producers, the AMPTP rushes to get this done, get this sorted so everyone can get back to work? Or are they going to stay true to those stupid, cruel, senseless, moronic words that one studio executive spoke of, waiting it out until people start losing their jobs and their houses?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they're gonna wait it out. I don't like these producers and studio execs in my eyes. They don't care. They don't need money right now. They have so much money because they've been building off the back of these fucking writers and these actors. And that whole proposed AI thing that got put out there of like why just like one of the crazy aspects. It's not cool. I don't understand. I mean, I do understand. It's all greed. It's literal greed. Yeah. And there's been some like Bob Iger, I used to look up to. That was one of the worst interviews I've ever seen. Everything about the strike that he talked about was awful. And I think like he's the only one that's kind of opened his mouth to it. I do not understand why he did. But I was baffled by it. I don't know about you, man. I was baffled that he even said some of that stuff. Like, dude, you make $75,000 a day. Like, stop it. Yeah. But I lost respect. But I'm we are in solidarity with the writers and the actors, and I think one thing that's really cool is like I like seeing like Sean Gunn. Like, I don't know if you saw the video going around of him of what he said. That was great.
I got it sent to me twice. 2 people sent it to me, and I'm like, I've seen it.
Yeah, like there's a lot out there, and I really hope. What I hope is that they do join up, but like the writers, the WGA has not talked with the producers at all, and the actors. I'm going to be honest with you. It kind of sucks that the DGA decided to take that deal, because I think if they didn't and you had 3 guilds on strike, this would be maybe another couple weeks. But I think it would have been more in solidarity. And I feel like it's nice that the both of them are working together. But I think it's just going to depend on what happens, because the thing that sucks also right now is, like, I don't know if you saw, House of Dragons is still filming because they're all UK actors, and they can't strike. Who says that these AMP producers are like, fuck you. We're just going to go get actors that are in a different location that don't have these liabilities and start doing that. And that's scary. I don't know how if they can fully do that or if they can't. But
it's a tricky situation. What I will say is, going off of what you said, we stand with the writers, we stand with the artists, and period. That's it. There's nothing wrong with people demanding living wages and fair compensation for doing their job. And that's what this is all about.
Residuals are a big part.
Yeah.
And Sean Gunn said Golden Girls, what he's most known for.
Gilmore Girls.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He doesn't get residuals from Netflix. He hasn't seen a residual from there in years. That's wild. That's insane.
And and for the people who might not know, as the years go on, if something gets started on syndication, the longer it goes, the less you're going to get, which is fair. It will come a point where you get 5 cents for it. But the fact that things are now in streamers like Gilmore Girls on Netflix, people are not getting nothing. 5 cents is better than nothing. So you can call it greed as well, but this is about fairness. And if I'm owed those 5 cents, who knows how much more you owe me? That's what this is all about.
Yep.
And I will also add that when he talked about Bob Iger, exactly the same thing. I looked up to him, and honestly, he's still one of the greatest CEOs. Doesn't take away from all the good things as a CEO that he's made. What he said was cruel. What he said was insensitive, and I think it was just a wrong thing to say. I will add, however, and Sean Chandler was the only person to actually call out for this on Twitter. He's actually talking about the timing and how we are finally recuperating on the mess that COVID created, and now this happens. He's still very wrong. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. He is still very wrong.
Yeah.
And it's a very insensitive thing to say. But actually go to the quotes. Don't read the headlines.
Yeah.
Go to the actual
well, and that's the thing,
message.
Because when he's talking about that, my whole thing is then, okay, so why aren't you being one of the ones that are pushing for everyone else to get on board?
Yeah. Because
I don't know. I want to know what Tom Cruise did, because you remember his whole freak out at the COVID situation. Like, I'm going to tell you, a lot of films next year being pushed back, a lot of stuff pushed back. And when they finally come out, they might not be the best. Like that's just the honest truth. I don't know. Next year's gonna be scary. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of movies.
Next year's going to be scary. I think, even still, I think next year it's not even going to be the worst of it, depending on how long
The
this
year
goes. But
after, yeah, but
as it stands right now, I think we're still we're not still like at 100% of what next year was going to be, but we're still like relatively at 85-80% right now of what next year was going to be in terms of movies. 2025, at this point, it's already fucked.
yeah,
It's done for.
yeah.
And what's scary is exactly that attitude of not knowing how long this is going to go. And I'll tell you what, there's a part of me that believes me because of the way Hollywood and CEOs and producers and executives all look at the movie star and the actors, and because they know how the general audience, the audience that actually makes these movies money, they look at the actors, and actors are quote unquote all that matters. I think they're going to rush somewhat into getting a fair deal with actors. I think we're still screwed because that's not going to fix anything if they leave the writers in waiting.
So
And
that's yeah.
yeah, go
In
ahead,
a
go ahead.
perfect world, I hope the actors stay. We're not doing anything till the writers are done. Like we both need a deal. That's what they all need to do. Because reality is an actor is also only so great as the writers, the script and stuff
That's
to a
true.
certain extent. So
No. That's 100% true.
yeah,
And goes back to what she said about the DGA. They should have stand. While I agree, morally, emotionally, I'm like, as directors, we should stand with our writers and actors. But remember, they are all different unions. The leaders of the Directors Guild, of the Directors Union, they have to look out for their union. They can stand in solidarity, but they have to look out for their union. So if they reach a fair deal, they have to take that deal. Same with the writers, same with the actors. But I think the actors with writers stand a lot closer, which is only natural because of the relationship. Because I can be the greatest actor of all time, if I don't get a good script, I can't do anything. I'm powerless. I'm not talentless, but I'm powerless. It's a very, very complicated situation. It's a very messy situation, and I just wish we weren't here. I wish throughout this past week, we've been seeing a lot of turnaround on Babylon. And I wish it didn't take us this. I wish Babylon was still being as ill received as it was when it came out, if it meant we were going through this. Because this situation is not good for anyone. It's not a good sign for anyone. I just hope these executives, these CEOs, get some sense into them and realize how awful this is for the future of the industry. Because they can stand at the top, but they only stand at the top because the mountain is built on the writers and on the actors and on the directors and the costume design and all the actual artists that bring this art to life. They give the money, but what they do with the money is what matters. What these artists do with the money is what matters. So let's hope this mess becomes a lot less messy going into the next few months, next few weeks, maybe going. But a lot of people, insiders, a lot of people predicting it could go into the new year, which is, it's not a shame, it's frightening. It's apocalyptic for everything and everyone. And it feels like we're repeating the cycle that happened with COVID all over again, just through different means. And it's movie theaters that are going to suffer yet again. Because if you don't have anything to show, it's like, god damn it. Okay, I'm going to watch stuff at home. And now movies are back. No, I got way too used to watching stuff at home.
Yep.
And it's scary. It's scary, man.
You
I don't know if
how
you want
this
to add anything else.
The only pro I could see to this with helping the theaters is maybe Netflix starts looking at like, wow, we have a backlog of movies we're going to release. Maybe we should throw them in wide release. You can clear up and win.
It could be, but knowing Netflix, I don't know what I think could be done. And Granted, this would just be a way that a decision by the executives to get some more money while they don't have new things, but re-release older movies, anniversary
Oh
movies.
yeah.
There's a cinema here entirely dedicated to that, but to actually go to a main franchise cinema like a Cineworld, like an AMC, like a Regal, like an Odeon, stuff like that, that would be awesome to just get re-releases of classics, of your Star Warses, of your original Iron Man, of your original Indiana Jones trilogy, of The Thing, of Lost Boys, like I saw last year, of Alien, of Aliens, of The Terminator, T2, all the good stuff. While we don't get new good stuff, so I just hope like we see the better of the situation very very soon.
Yep, I agree.
I don't know if you want to add anything else.
No, man, I think we nailed everything.
All right, everyone. That does it for our main topic discussion. Because we're just getting into bad spirits now. This is not good for our soul. But what is good for our soul is your questions and getting the conversation started with you. So we're going to start with Master of Gaming. Do you wish the writers / actors don't get replaced by AI? I don't know who would answer otherwise. Of course, I don't wish for them to get replaced by AI. I'm someone who's a writer. I'm someone who wants to be an actor. Why would anyone wish that? If anyone says yes, says that they wish actors and artists get replaced by artificial intelligence, I want to meet that person and I just want to talk. I just want to talk. Zach, what do you think? Do I have to talk to you? Do I have to talk some sense into you?
No, man.
Lady Aaron, with both actors and writers both being on strike together, what do you expect in terms of delays and what do you think might be delayed? Everything. There's nothing that is safe because everything depends on writers to get it written and actors to play it out.
Also, don't be surprised if you see some Oscar films that should have premiered later this year not come out this year. Because the 100%. Studios know the reason that those films win is because their actors and their writers and all that campaign. They can't campaign. So, I'm not saying Killers of the Flower Moon, but maybe something that hasn't premiered yet, but everyone knew was coming out later this year.
Napoleon
won't be there anymore. Yeah, Napoleon. So, yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame because it looks really good. Lady Aaron, which side are you on when it comes to this strike and why? We answer that. It's the artists, it's the writers and the actors. 100%. There's not even question about it. And if you are siding with the CEOs and the executives, please get out, unsubscribe, and block my channel. Zach, I don't know if you have any different of an answer. All right.
No, man.
Lady Aaron, how do you think this strike could affect film festivals such as Venice, Telluride, and TIFF? Could they possibly be canceled because of the strike? No, not at all. They're not going to be canceled. The festivals are going to go as planned in terms of showing movies and receiving critics and audiences, but there's just not going to be any...
They'll start on time.
They'll start on time, but exactly. Good one. There's just not going to be any pizzazz or red carpets or anything. It's going to be going to a movie, get out, going to another movie, go home. There's just going to be, here's the movies that are playing, choose which one you want to watch, and there's no press conferences. Again, no red carpets, no junket interview, nothing. It's just going to be movies playing, come watch it, go home and write your review or shoot your review in this case. Lady Aaron, both Barbie and Oppenheimer finally releasing in theaters next week, and I don't know when I'm watching Oppenheimer because I didn't receive an invite for the press screening, and the showings on Friday are sold out. So I'm expecting to see one of the biggest and closest box office duels in recent memory. Which movie, in your opinion, do you think will win at the box office? We talked about this last week. But you weren't here, so I'm going to let you go off. I will say, like I said last week, I think Barbie wins the weekend. I think Barbie has the better legs, clearly. But I think they both overall do very, very well. I don't think either of these has a chance to flop. Zach, what do you got?
A lot of my friends who aren't average moviegoers. They're all doing double features. So Barbie's winning the weekend. I think Barbie's going to make at least like 90 mil, maybe 85 at most, but 80 to 90. Oppenheimer will probably make up to 40, 50. But I think they'll both have decent legs. But I'll tell you this right now. I think in the long run, Barbie does make more money, but I think Oppenheimer has the longer legs in theaters because it's the biggest drama. And just I've talked to people who have seen both. Oppenheimer's a little bit heavier, but I'm very curious to see the general audience's reception to Barbie. I think that's what I need to see before I can really establish that, because critics are so different than your average moviegoer who might like. So if Barbie comes out and has like an A+ cinema score, a 98 on audience retention on Rotten Tomatoes, I might go as far as say, okay, Barbie's probably gonna have the better legs, but it also might not. So we'll see.
All right. Lady Ann, with the strike in place, do you think Barbie and Oppenheimer could be the last big blockbusters that we get for a while or not? I mean, strike or not, they are. Like, outside of Dune 2, Dune 2 is still going to be a blockbuster, for better or worse.
The Marvels.
It's just probably not. The Marvels, they're just probably not going to get any pizzazz, any red carpets, any junkets, any interviews, any promotion from the actors. If we're talking about box office, absolutely. But in terms of like blockbusters, massive blockbusters, no, those movies there are.
Don't count out the Ninja Turtles movie in August. I think that movie could make a lot of money.
I'm very excited. I'm not counting on it making a lot. I think it's going to make its budget back. Yeah. I think it could get to 300, maybe 400 million, but yeah. Ren, almost 2 weeks ago, I finally saw Dirty Dancing for the first time. Yes, very good. I watched the play, the musical on stage, Dirty Dancing, this year. I think if I'm correct, it's one of the guilty pleasures. It's the guiltiest pleasure. What are your favorite aspects when it comes to Dirty Dancing? Oh, the absolute silliness and melodrama of it. It's actually got some really good comedy. The over the top sex appeal of it all, and that just results in a whole amount of silliness when it comes to the music, the visuals, the way the characters act, the characterizations about them, the motivations, and all. It's just super silly. I love it. I think it's wonderful. Zach, do you like Dirty Dancing?
It's good. I've just never been the biggest fan of it.
All right. Lady Aaron, what are some places that you really loved going to in the area that you live in? There have sadly closed or shut down for good. Do I have any places like that? Ooh, I do. So in central London, if you've ever been in Piccadilly Circus, there was this Italian place, mostly pizza place, but they also serve pasta and all that, called Fratella di Bufala, which is Brothers of Buffalo, which is where mozzarella comes from. It was like this place. They had wooden fire pizzas. They would cook it like in front of you. It was delicious. It was the best pizza I've ever had, if we're counting like pizza, not fast food pizza. Actual pizza that I've ever had. It was wonderful. They shut down during COVID. Then like last year, I was walking down the street and I'm like, they're open again. Wonderful. And I'm like, let's go here. And then one day I went there to have dinner and they were closed again. And I saw that they were closed for good, which is a real shame, because now the actual best pizza ever that reigns supreme is once again Pizza Hut. It's the best pizza out there. Zach, what about you?
There was like one movie theater that I didn't go to too often because it was kind of expensive, but it was the nicest theater in Arizona and it closed. So they just wasn't sustainable. As for food places, I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one, but COVID just sucked.
True. Lady Aaron, what is your favorite movie performance from each of the following decades?
I wanna
40s,
be able to
50s,
answer
60s, and why? I
I
don't know.
can't answer that.
You'd have to give me a list of all the performances from those decades from the movies I've seen. Honestly, from the 40s, it'd probably be Casablanca because that's my top 10 of all time. But outside of that, like I'm not counting. I can't see in my head like what other performances are there to compare, so I can't give an answer. Can you? Do you remember every single performance from this decade?
No.
I didn't think so. Lady Aaron, what are your favorite animated movies of 2023 so far, and why? Which ones do you think might possibly be nominated for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars? Spider-Verse is the best one, followed by Suzume. Um, I don't know, man. The anime movies, they never seem to get enough buzz to get nominated, despite deserving it. But right now, I'm only
Miyazaki's probably
expecting.
will if it gets some good marketing
Yeah,
finally.
yeah, I hope so. But that's because it's Miyazaki at this point.
Yeah.
It's like it's Streep, it's a default, and hopefully it's good enough to deserve it. But without having seen it, Suzume is just wonderful. Right now, I'm only counting on Spider-Verse getting in.
I think Spider-Verse gets in, and I think Elemental gets in.
All right. I hope we see Elemental get in. I mean, so far, at least. It's definitely my number 3 best animated movie of the year.
Yeah.
Lady Aaron, thoughts on the Emmy nominations that we got over the week? If you saw them, which shows got the most nominations? Of the nominations, what are the biggest surprises and biggest snubs in your opinion? I don't know about surprise or snubs. Last of Us got a lot of nominations. Got nomination for Best
That's
Show,
all that matters.
for
Guest
Pedro
actor,
Pascal,
they
for
almost
Bella
had
Ramsey.
every single thing.
Yeah, true.
Ish,
And
so.
and if everything is right with the Emmys, they win it all because it's the best show of the year so far. It's not even close. Not even fucking close.
I agree.
So yeah.
The only thing I would give and I just do this because they have never won an award. Everything for Better Call Saul, I would give it. Bob Odenkirk, I'd give him. Reese Horn, I would give it. But that still opens. I think Bella Ramsey should win Best Actress, though. I think she gave the best performance out of all those, out of that entire category. So, which is tough because Sarah Snook was incredible and
true, but she's better. Bella's better.
They're gonna end up.
Pascal is better than
Let's gonna be honest though. They're gonna end up giving it to All to Succession,
which is gonna fucking suck. Anyway, moving on. Before I get pissed about one of the most overrated shows, Lady Aaron just recently got the Letterboxd app, and I'm thinking of creating an account for it soon. I have no idea what my first reviewed movie should be. Should I do a movie that I just recently saw for the first time, or should I do a movie that I've seen many times before? I don't know. It's up to you. Like, watch a movie. You have the app, so the next movie you watch, log that in, whether it's a rewatch or a brand new film. Like, I didn't put that much thought when I created my Letterboxd account, so I can't put that much thought into someone else's. It wouldn't be fair.
Just to help you record what you watch. Like, that's
exactly
the way I use it.
Yeah, it's true. I'm seeing in the chat, House of Dragon did not get any nominations. That is fucking bullshit. So yeah. Lady Aaron, if you could choose only 5 Disney movies to watch for the rest of your life, what would they be and why? Again, the why doesn't really matter. When I read Disney movies, I'm going to go like classic. I'm not counting Star Wars and Marvel, like Disney
or
movies.
Pixar, just straight Disney.
Yeah, exactly. Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Treasure Planet, Tarzan. Ooh, I'm actually kind of indecisive if I go Moana or Hercules for the last one.
That's tough.
Ooh, is Moana better than Hercules for me? You know what? Right now I'm going to go Hercules because of the childhood, like, nostalgia of it. But those are easily my top 5 Disney movies, so those are the ones. What about you?
Lilo and Stitch, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Treasure Planet.
No Lion King?
No, and probably Tarzan. Yeah.
Wow.
I love Lion King, but it wasn't one of the ones I grew up with. Those are like the 5 I grew up with.
I'm shocked. I just didn't know.
I think I was just. I think it was too depressing to me, to be honest.
Later, if you could choose 5 Studio Ghibli movies to watch for the rest of your life, which ones would they be?
I got this, man.
Go.
Erwig and the Witch, Erwig and the Witch, Erwig and the Witch, Erwig and the Witch, and Spirited Away.
I'm gonna go Princess Mononoke because it's their best one. Spirited Away. That's a depressing one. Now that you talked about depressing, Kiki's Delivery Service because it's
so cute.
It's fucking delightful. It's one of those rare movies where there's not really any evil here. It's just so fucking good.
My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Nagasaki of the Valley, A Castle in the Sky, Ariadne, The Red Turtle.
Studio Ghibli. Do I go with Totoro?
Grave of the Fireflies?
Fuck no. It's amazing, don't get me wrong, but Jesus fucking Christ.
The Wind Rises.
The Wind Rises is a good one. When Marnie Was There. When Marnie Was There, I'm definitely taking it with me. Yeah, you know what? I'll take My Neighbor Totoro. So yeah. Alrighty. Next up, Lady Aaron. All right, Lady Aaron. Thoughts on the trailers for Wonka and Blue Beetle? Blue Beetle is the second trailer, so I didn't watch it. Wonka, I thought it was really charming. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I think it looks very, very fun. Zach?
I'm not watching Blue Beetle, the trailers anymore, because I'm sure they spoiled the entire film. And from what I've heard, the new trailer did spoil the entire movie. Wonka looks charming and delightful. I did a trailer reaction, so.
All right. Nathan Holton, what do you think the secret screening is on July 24th? It's going to be Talk to Me.
It already was. Are they talking about you're talking Cineworld. Never mind. Regal does them out here, and it was
because it's owned by Cineworld.
Oh, so it's gonna be Talk to Me because we just had. Yeah, okay.
It's gonna be Talk to Me because on the same day, Odeon, the other big chain here, is also doing one. But when Odeon has a horror movie, they're not called. So Cineworld does unlimited secret screenings. And Odeon does Screen Unseens, also for their members. But when Odeon has a secret screening, they're called Scream Unseens. And then it's a horror movie. And whenever they do it on the same dates, and it's always the same movie. Cineworld has many more, but when Odeon does it, it's always on the same date as Cineworld one, and it's always the same movie, so it's going to be Talk to Me. I have my tickets. I'm going to be there, but if it is Talk to Me, I'm walking out only because I've already seen it. Nothing wrong with Talk to Me. You shouldn't walk out if you've not seen it. I'm only walking out because, I've seen it. I'm not doing much here. So yeah. Nathan Holton, thoughts on the set photos of Snow White? I didn't know there were set photos out. So yeah, I have no thoughts.
You see what the Seven Dwarfs look like. I'll just leave it at that. Look it up afterwards.
All right. Nathan Holton, do you think Venice and other festivals will be canceled? Answer this question, absolutely not. Nathan Holton, will next year be like 2020 with not many films released? Right now, we're okay. It's 2025 that is screwed. But if it keeps going, yeah, it's going to be like 2020. Do you agree, disagree, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, what could happen is a lot of stuff gets pushed from next year to the following year because nothing was done.
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't include films, that shows too. Like Daredevil, I don't think comes out next year or until at least the end of it. So,
yeah,
like we'll probably see Agatha before Daredevil, which was not the case when they announced the schedule.
True. And I'm not in a rush to see Agatha at all. Nathan Holton, thoughts on Argyle getting pushed to 2024? I did not know it was pushed to 2024, so I have no thoughts. Do you have any thoughts? Did you know Argyle? Because you know the big thing behind Argyle.
Yeah, I
I
also talked to 3 people who just saw it because they did a test screening out here in Arizona.
And they confirm.
Yeah,
from the
they
credits what
confirmed
I
that,
told
yeah.
you. Yeah.
But they also confirmed some other things about the films. So,
Oh, okay, interesting.
so
all right, Nathan Holton. When do you think the next James Bond will be announced? And prediction of who? I'm not going to give you a prediction of who for reasons. When will it be announced? I have no idea. It was supposed to be
After the
springtime,
strike.
April, May.
After
Well,
the strike.
at this point, studios will be like, hey, never mind the strike. Here's the new James Bond. Look how shiny he is. So, yeah. At this point, I don't know. But for what I just said, I hadn't thought about it. But I'm like, yeah, that is something like the studios would absolutely do. So maybe very soon. Thoughts on Superman Legacy casting? We talked about this last week or two weeks ago at this point. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was our whole main topic. So, Nathan Holton, thoughts on Bob Iger's comments regarding the strikes and him staying as CEO of Disney through 2026. So, the first part we talked about, in regards to him remaining CEO of Disney,
I'm not sure.
Given the comments, there are 2 answers to this. Because, like I said, as CEO, he's a brilliant CEO. He's the most successful CEO Disney has ever had, one of the most successful CEOs any studio has ever had. Given these comments, him staying as CEO after these comments, like, how much does that damage the relationship with him and workers, like the actors, the writers, everything and everyone? It's tricky. Look, I think there's a quote in Just Mercy that says, we are more than the worst thing we've done. And that applies to the worst thing we might have said. I think what Bob Iger said does not undo all the smart things he's done, does not unsay all the smart things he said before. But I think now it's on him. The onus is on him. Not go back. Like you said this, it's out there. Stand your ground. Adjust your thoughts. Talk it out with your workers, the people that work for you, because all these writers, all these actors, all these artists, yeah, our world runs on money, so people need money. Yes, this is a job, and this is an artistic endeavor that is married to a business, but the greatest gift a career like this can give anyone, it's not the money, it's not the fame, it's the fact that what these writers and actors create can emotionally connect to so many people. Maybe connects with one person in the entire world, says the guy who loves The Sun from last year. And that's the most important part. Again, obviously, we have to think of money because unfortunately our world runs on money. We cannot survive without money. But I think that we have to think of the art itself and the passion that every single one of these artists puts behind their art. And I think now it's on Iger to stand by his workers, by his artists, and prove with actions, with words. Now you can prove your workers otherwise, that you do believe in them, that you do want them, that you do value them. So
yep.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
I don't got anything.
All right. Tony Movie Chappie, do you think Barbie will be the most divisive movie of the year?
No, not when blackening is a thing and Ren hated it and everyone else loved it. It's pretty diverse.
It's awful.
It's awful right now. So,
all right, Nathan Madigan. If the strikes continue indefinitely,
again, same
thing. Could we see similar patterns of certain movies coming out later in the year as during the pandemic? Yeah, we addressed that, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. And the longer it goes, now. Right now, we're not feeling it, but it doesn't take too much longer for it to go on for us to start feeling it. So, yeah. Eric Thorpe. Ren, what's the story behind your acting career? So cool you were in The Witcher. Well, thank you very much. I would hesitate in calling it a career because if it was a career, I wouldn't need the day job I currently have. So me being on The Witcher, it's very easy. Honestly, you just sign up on the proper sites doing castings for background actors. You just sign up, you upload a few of your pictures, your weight, your height, description of your hair, eye color, body type, all that. And
Your
that
entire
gets
life.
inserted into a database, your entire life, your criminal history, all that. Well, that's actually not a joke, because if you have a criminal history, you need to let them know. And so that is kept on a database. And so when productions are in production, which will not be the case right now, so it'll get sent out to productions who are looking for extras to play football fans or guards in The Witcher or villagers or passerbys on the street in the Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield movie, which I did get an availability request for, but I couldn't go.
What
And
episode are you in? I have not watched all The Witcher yet, so
I'm in episode 1 in the final scene.
Okay, so I didn't
When
finish
you
that
have
yet,
when
so.
you have an overhead shot and then you zoom in on Ciri's father on the balcony, there's 2 guards behind him.
There's 2 guards. Okay,
And
cool.
so if you're looking at the TV, I'm on your left, which is behind his right shoulder.
Okay.
And then I'm on episode 3. And then I'm on episode 3 in a tavern, a pub, where a wizard friend of Yennefer's is meeting with someone. And this was the scene where I was like, there's no way I can be seen on this. There's absolutely no fucking way. And you totally can see me. Like, the girl that comes in bumps into one of the guards.
And you're not playing the same. Are you playing the same guard or?
Yeah, I'm always the same guard.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's another scene that I shot, which is when Robbie Amell meets Ciri's father. And I'm right behind Robbie Amell. And when Robbie Amell walks out the room, I move for him to pass and I go after him. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. You can totally see. You cannot see me at all. You do see like a guard behind him, but the guard is completely out of focus.
Aww.
They shot this with a shallow focus lens. Like, it's just him. And you cannot tell at all, like, from the guard behind him. But I swear to you, it is me behind Robbie Amell. And then when he walks out, you don't even see him. The camera doesn't even point to him. It stays with another guy just looking at him getting out, and you just hear the doors and all that. So, but signing up to these sites is very easy. Just sign up, and then it gets sent out to production. So when productions are looking for passerbys, football, all that, you'll get sent availability requests telling you, hey, we need you for XYZ days in this location. Are you available? You say yes, and then they will get back to you saying, okay, production wants you, come here, start this time, and come here, and blah, blah, blah. Or production will say, oh, they don't need you anymore, or they didn't choose you, blah, blah. So this is all just background acting, which is fair enough. Still, acting is still very important for the verisimilitude of the world building of a show, visually speaking, or movie. And I did get many more invites for The Witcher than the ones I could accept. Even this last week, I was still getting invites for House of the Dragon. I could never get one, especially now. But yeah, I would hesitate in calling it a career. Hopefully someday it becomes a career, but right now it's just background acting, which is still fun pace, fun experiences, but it's not exactly a career, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would be having a lot more fun on my day jobs, because it would be very different from month to month. But then again, right now I would probably be unemployed again because of the strikes. All right. But by the way, I can now call myself Henry Cavill's co-star, and I will not do that. I will very much do that. Nathan Madigan, what lesson should Hollywood take away from the strikes going forward? Pay your artists fairly. Have some love for the art. Have some compassion for the artists, and stop being so fucking greedy. Like, you can still keep that money you're making. You're just allowing other people to make fairer money. So yeah. Zach.
You don't need 7 yachts. I mean, that's the way I view it. So
you don't need so many zeros in your paycheck.
yeah.
Bye-bye. Superman Legacy casting. Barbie Divisive. What lesson? Okay, here
I
we
got
go.
the next one. Yeah, I'm also following
Yeah,
too.
read
So.
it. Read it.
Eric Thorpe reviews. This Tuesday, Dark Knight turns 15 years old. Any thoughts on how this iconic film has impacted not just comic book films, but cinema in general in the past decade and a half? And how great is it that new Nolan film comes out the same week?
That's a happy coincidence, actually. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Do you want to
Mamma
get
Mia
started?
also turns 15 this year because Mamma Mia came out the same day as The Dark Knight. That was the original Barbie and Oppenheimer.
True.
I've never seen The Dark Knight in theaters. I didn't get to see it in theaters.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so
Oh wow.
I don't have as much love for I love this movie. I love it so wholeheartedly, but it's never been like super high for me on Nolan films. Like when I my ranking, I think it's like number 5. I think it's a brilliant made movie. But what I do think The Dark Knight did was it changed the trajectory of how people view comic book films. That comic book films can be more than just a man dressed as a bat in tights. It can be more than that because for me, Batman Begins is an actual true Batman film. The Dark Knight, yeah, it's a Batman movie to a certain extent, but it is more of a crime story than anything else. It's a crime drama. And that's what I love about The Dark Knight compared to Batman Begins. Because if someone asked me to rank all my favorite Batman films, I would rank Batman Begins over The Dark Knight. If you asked me to rank my favorite Christopher Nolan films, 1000% The Dark Knight would be over Batman Begins because it is true and true out a Dark Knight film. So I think it's an amazing thing, and I love what Nolan's done. I think it did again change up comic book genre, though. I think it showed studios that you can do more.
I echo those exact words. It's a comic book movie that took inspiration from something more than comic book movies, and the X-Men did it first. The original X-Men and X2 United, X-Men United did it first, but The Dark Knight elevated it to a whole nother level. And I think Batman Begins is better, but The Dark Knight, there's no denying the impact that it had. It was the movie that made the Oscars go, we should have actually 10 slots for the Best Picture nominations. And ever since, it has changed the course of comic book movie history for the better, in my opinion. Zach, why don't you read the next one? Because I have no thoughts.
I don't really either, though.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll just go to that one.
It's from Eric. Let's just shout out because it's from Eric Thorpe Reviews, and it's about the first reactions for Oppenheimer. I don't care about.
I didn't read them. I didn't really read them, so I don't.
I don't give a shit what they have to say, whether they're complaining, whether they're praising. I have not seen the movie. Again, I don't know when I'll see the movie at this point, but I'm not interested in watching, seeing, and reading what people have to say before I see a movie myself. Arthur Reviews, with the Dark Knight's anniversary, it also got me thinking how there's only ever been one piece of media, as far as I know, released outside of Nolan's 3 films that is technically supposed to be a part of the universe he created, which is Batman Gotham Knight, which hit Blu-ray just 10 days before the theatrical release of The Dark Knight. Even though I'm not big on anime, I've always thought it was a little cool collection of shorts that gives us a little taste of what few other villains we didn't get in live action were like in Nolan verse, such as Deadshot and Killer Croc. Why do you think Nolan approved this one, seemingly now forgotten collection of animated shorts to be a part of his universe, but never anything else, even in the form of comics or anything else? And if you've seen it, what did you think of it? I've not seen it, so I don't have a lot of thoughts on it. And I have no idea, like, Nolan approving or anything. If anything, I would say this was not Nolan directing, this was not Nolan writing, but Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, the Nolan trilogy is still property of Warner Brothers. So I don't know that he would have to sign off on anything or approve anything. Do you have thoughts?
I looked it up because I'd never heard of this in my life. Okay. Nolan does not think it's canon. Just as a point of reference. It's like, yeah, he doesn't think it's canon. Let's just leave it at that. Be cool, but it's not.
Be cool. All right. Eric Thorpe Reviews, thoughts on RDJ saying Oppenheimer is the best movie he's ever been in? It's his job. Of course he's going to say that.
Yeah. And honestly,
he's not going
you
to
might
sit
believe
there.
it. You might believe it.
Absolutely, but he's not going to sit there and say, oh, this is really good, but Endgame is still much better, or the first Iron Man is still much better, or Chaplin is still much better, or Dr. Dolittle is still
Tropic Thunder.
No. Or Tropic Thunder is still much better. Yeah, he's going to hype this movie up as much as he can. So, of course, he's going to say, I'm not shocked at all. And I might agree. I might disagree.
Yeah.
But,
And arguably, he's one of the biggest stars in the film. Like, I mean, Cillian Murphy's big, Matt Damon's really big, but like to the general going audience, him and Emily Blunt are the biggest. And Florence Pugh, of course. So
yeah, Cillian Murphy is not, in terms of movie star. I'm not saying whether he's a better actor or not, but in terms of movie star, Robert Downey Jr. All right, let me ask you, Scott. Will Deadpool 3 be a farewell to the X-Men, to the Fox X-Men, and thoughts on the set photos? I'm gonna not answer that first part of your question for reasons. For reasons. Let's just keep it at that, Zach. Let's just say 4 reasons. The set photos are really cool. Wolverine, Hugh Jackman in the yellow costume. I love the look of this costume. I will say my only gripe with it is that it has sleeves.
Do you know why it has sleeves, though? I was looking into it with some other people. It's because he has skin cancer. Or he's more, Hugh Jackman's more apparent to skin cancer because he's had it before. So apparently he asked for the sleeves. So maybe when they film indoors, maybe he doesn't have sleeves.
Fair enough.
I could be wrong, but that's what a lot of people were talking about. But that's most likely why.
Yeah. I know he has skin cancer and he always takes care of himself. I just didn't know that it was active again, but that's fair, I guess. What I was going
I don't
to
know
say
if it's active again. Maybe it's just something that helps. So
I was just going to say, like, why would you cover the arms of huge Jackman? So yeah, but it looks fantastic.
Do you think he gets the mask at any point? I think he gets the mask.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Just
not in a way. I don't think he wears it a lot, but I think he gets it.
I think when he's, I was about to say something, but
we'll talk about it when the cameras are off. With Ren hating The Blackening, what are films you hated, but you're surprised to find out that you're actually in the minority on? Ooh, good question.
Hating
Blonde is not one because it was very divisive. There were a lot of people who hated it, rightfully so, and there were a lot of people that baffingly loved it.
I have one. The Covenant. I do not fucking stand people's love for that film. The new one with Jake Gyllenhaal. The one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I haven't seen it.
I do not. Oh, same with Asteroid City. I walked out of Asteroid City thinking,
oh yes,
I do not get the hype for this. The Boogeyman, same thing. I do not get any of the praise for that film. Yeah, those are mine.
Yeah. Asteroid City is definitely there for me. Apparently, I'm in the minority on. I don't want to say hate because I wouldn't like give it a 1 star, but in really not liking World's End. World's End is not a very good movie at all.
With Simon Pegg?
No. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
Oh, you're fucking high as a kite. That's the best fucking Pirates movie. That's the best fucking Pirates
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
3, 2, 1. That's how I go, that trilogy.
No.
Yes, man. No,
insane.
I'm not.
I love you, but you are insane.
No, man. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, fucking dead. I love how weird those fucking things are. I know I'm in the minority on that, though. I know. I think if you talk about quality, yes, the first one is the best. But what is my actual favorite?
That's what I am talking about.
Quality-wise, maybe not, but...
All right.
Do you think... I have this one. I have it up. Do you feel that Secret Invasion... Oh, this is from G. Colby. Do you guys feel that Secret Invasion should have been a movie for the story it's telling, or at least added a few more episodes? Because honestly, the stuff with Nick Fury is more interesting than the actual Secret Invasion stuff. I think it would have worked as a good movie. I do.
I think it would have worked as a movie, but I don't think that's the problem.
I don't even think more episodes or a movie would be an issue.
Yeah,
6 episodes feels fine.
yeah, it's not one of those where I'm like, oh, they're rushing this, or they're
Yeah,
dragging
or
this
they have
along.
so
They
much
only have
stuff going on. Like
no,
they don't
the
have a
things
lot.
that the things that are happening are all things that by this point should have happened. It's just not. They don't have the punch that they should have. If I'm
Yeah.
reading these scripts, I'm like, oh shit, and okay, we're not gonna
Which
talk about episode 4 yet, but we're gonna talk about
mhm.
episode 3. Like, oh shit, and Gravik finds out that Gaia is a spy, and he shoots her, and she dies, and oh my god! And then when it plays out, it's like, oh, okay,
I sat there and
we didn't
I was like, there's no way she's dead. There's no
we
way.
didn't
You
see
don't
them
hire
together
Amelia
throughout the
Clark.
entire
Yeah.
episode. We didn't see them together throughout the entire thing. We haven't seen Olivia Colman since episode 2. We didn't see Nick Fury and his wife a whole last episode together. They had a great conversation at the beginning, then they go their separate ways, and then there's this big thing she's talking to someone at the end. I thought the reveal of that someone, everything surrounding that was cool in episode 4,
Yeah.
but it's just like why am I not
I will
feeling
tell you right
the
now, I think
things?
it's a direction issue. I think it's a direction issue.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I talked to someone who read the scripts 7 months ago, and they
Okay.
said they were like, "Yeah, I see why Olivia Colman signed up. Yeah, I see."
And are
why
they the
Emilia
same
Clarke."
scripts?
Yeah.
Like looking at the show, are they the same scripts?
They said a lot of scenes have been cut, but
Okay.
mostly it feels like a direction issue.
Yeah.
So
It's so strange because even Emilia Clarke, who is giving a great performance, like, what is the show doing with her character? What, like, there's nothing. They take her this way, and then no, go back this way, and then go. And
it's
she's
sometimes
doing so
confusing.
much
Like,
with so
dude,
little.
sometimes I feel like I'm missing scenes, so like I'll
Yeah,
reverse it back a little bit. And I'm like,
exactly.
did I fall asleep for like 5 minutes and like
Yeah,
zone out? Like
exactly.
what?
And
Yeah, it's lost me. And I love the first two. I love the first two episodes so much. I
I love the
love
first
them.
episode. I like the second episode. And the big thing that I've always known about the show still hasn't happened, and there's no like indication of it happening, which is strange, which is very strange. All right, then we have only one more question for now, but we have like 15 more minutes. If anyone wants to ask questions, I'll refresh after answering this one. GGOP asks thoughts on Isabella Merced, Nathan Fillion, Anthony Carrigan, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the gentleman's name, Eddie Gathegi or Gategi, joining Superman Legacy as Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, Metamorpho, and Mr. Terrific. So let's talk in parts about this one. I like all of these actors, and and conceptually, I like all of these actors as these characters. Particularly Anthony Carrigan as Metamorpho. I love that. The casting is such a great fit, and this character being in a Superman movie, being in the movie at all, honestly, is such a James Gunny idea. Going back to when they first announced the slate, it's such a mix of mainstream Superman Legacy is the first movie in the DCU, yeah, and it has Metamorpho, which is such a James Gunny thing to pull off. And I think he'll fit right in as someone who's there to like do some world building by the mere fact that they exist. And I love Anthony Carrigan. I think he's fantastic. Everyone else, again, I like the actors. I like how he fit into the character. I don't know what they're doing in a Superman movie. I don't know what they're doing in a Superman movie that's meant to like launch the universe. And I saw this comparison yesterday of our friend Leo was talking about feels a little bit like we're taking the focus away from Superman. And another friend of mine was answering, did Penguin and Catwoman and Falcone and the Riddler take away the focus from Batman? In the Batman? No, because those are inherently Batman characters. They are part of the world of Gotham. These aren't characters that are part of the world of Metropolis, of the world of the early years of Superman. They are characters that have movies, that have comics, that have stories, that are main eventers onto their own and are part of the larger DC universe. They don't simply exist in this microcosm that is Superman's world in Metropolis or Clark Kent's world in Metropolis. So I don't know. I like the idea of seeing Nathan Fillion as a Green Lantern. I like the idea of seeing Metamorpho fighting Superman. Mr. Terrific could be very interesting, but again, I just don't see immediately how these are all inherently Superman ideas. Zach?
I think they're going to be a part. I don't think the Authority's in this film. I think some of those rumors are wrong.
I don't think so.
I know there was some rumors going around. I actually think they're going to set up
at this point, I hope not.
I think it's a JSA situation. I've been seeing some people theorize that this is their JSA. And either Superman's maybe a part of them or maybe just works with them and the Justice League isn't a thing yet.
Or they want to recruit him.
But yeah, I don't know. I love the casting. I love each and every one of the actors they casted. I think they're really cool. I like the characters. I can't say anything till I see the movie though. That's the best way.
It's true. It's true.
Or until I see a trailer
in concept,
and like more context. So
if they pull them off in the trailer, bring them out in the trailer, that is. Yeah, I just don't know, because when you think Batman, who are the characters that are naturally a part of the world of Batman? It's your Catwomans, it's your Riddlers, it's your Falcones, it's your Penguins. Who are the characters that are naturally a part of the world of Superman? It's Lois Lane, it's Jimmy Olsen, it's Barry White, it's Ma and Pa Kent, it's Lex Luthor. Again, Metamorpho is a weird one, but he's not going to be the main villain. I hope he's not the main villain. So, yeah, it's just this kind of thing like works in the Suicide Squad, where it's naturally just a bunch of random characters from all these different sorts of microcosms that get put together and are disposable, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And I just don't see this. I don't see what the connection, what the thread is here to bring them all into this Superman movie. So still interested. It's not like I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, I don't believe in this movie anymore. This movie's gonna suck. This movie is doomed. James Gunn. No. It's not that at all. It's just I don't see it yet. And that's a me thing. So yeah. All right, everyone, and let's check if we have any more questions. We do not.
I just re-questioned, we didn't, so.
Yeah. So with that out of the way, that is it for this Week in Geek. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, for asking your great questions, for making some great conversation. Let's hope next week we have a more fun topic to talk about, maybe. Maybe things will get worse. Hopefully things will get better, but I'm not counting on it. Thank you so much once more. We'll see you next Saturday. From me, from Zach, bunch of reviews coming throughout this week. I have my Talk to Me review, Past Lives review, Barbie on Monday. Again, I don't know when I watch Oppenheimer, but hopefully you're waiting for the review to come out. So until the next one, love each other and love them.